Sometimes I say to myself, is this world real? Am I living in this unbelievably goddamn bizarre, fucked up world? And I use an epithet, fucked up, because we're adults. And if any a time where epithets are appropriate, it is here at this site where I'm the only one, I think, who thinks, what in the hell? What in the hell am I looking at? What in the hell am I learning? Where is the where is the importance? Where is somebody who has some fucking balls to call out individuals or companies? I don't go to Facebook that much anymore. I do so, if at all, out of habit. And somebody reprinted, or I not reprinted, somebody, they linked up this article on that stupid SFGate, which is completely irrelevant. The big discussion. Oh, KNBR, Cumulus, is moving out of their studios. As if the fucking parting of the Red Sea was taking place. As if Jesus Christ was spotted at the Hyatt Regency in Barcadero. As if there were real news taking place. And the person who, I'm sure there were others, who linked the article is Jennifer Hodges. I guess she works at KCBS. And she goes in her comment, Cumulus, Daily City, have you no honor? It was something like that. I'm paraphrasing. And she gets like these morons who used to work, I guess, at either KGO or whomever worked for a Cumulus station, God forbid. And then there are those who work now at Audacy stations, which of course locally is 95.7 The Game, and of course KCBS, the alleged all-news station. And like it's a big to-do. First off, Daly City is kind of underrated. It's not that bad of a city, especially in the area in which the Cumulus, the clouds, moved to. It's actually a nice place. But that's not the point. This is what we're so engulfed in. This is what we're talking about. They moved out of their studios. Big fucking deal. How about the fact that they pay their interns minimum wage? How about the fact that they have such utter disregard for radio stations and radio people and plain people, and that they destroyed legacy stations like KGO, like the old KNBR, like 104.5 KFOG? How about the disgrace that nobody seems to give a damn about except me? I'm not asking for any pat on the back. Far from it. But all this commotion over, they moved out of a radio. Big fucking deal. They moved from San Francisco to Daly City. That's what we're all concentrated on. Show disgust when it is really apparent, when it's needed. Like how a goddamn radio station is killed, and they've killed many. And it's not just them. Speaking of Audacy, you've got, the 1-2 punch. You've got Intercom. They're both penny stock now because they're not even run by radio people or broadcast people. They're just plain conglomerates, hedge funds. And they have this shit that they've left behind. They destroyed the San Francisco market. Look at what we're reduced to now. We got to go to Facebook and post little stupid, inane comments like, how sad. Well, of course it's sad. How about sad? You want real sadness? How about the fact that they killed careers, that they got rid of people, good people, They laid people off. They distorted their being. They managed to screw up Nirvana when they had actual radio stations, and when they were not employing goddamn interns and fucking frat boys who now comprise their so-called sports station. The same thing with 95.7 The Game, which is a joke, and KMBR, which is an uber joke, and KGO, which was falsified and now is in oblivion, and now is something called syndicated crap KSFO with all this syndicated garbage. And we're all worried or confronted with, oh my God, KNBR moved out of their studios. Who the fuck writes this shit? Look at our media. Look at what we're reduced to now. This is what entails us. This is what we're concentrating on. How about this? How about we worry about the real shit? But the people whose lives they destroyed, about the radio stations and the heritage and all the shit I used to talk about for God knows 12, 15 years now. And we're worried about a goddamn radio station who has no retail, who has no depth, who has no being whatsoever, a couple of has-beens, mostly Uber drivers and interns and frat boys who are now living their lives working in Daly City as if that's a big brouhaha. Give me a fucking break. Grow up. Realize the real story, not this shit. How they've destroyed not just radio stations, livelihoods, people. They get these morons that they bring out from wherever. And they're doing the same, they being Audacy. What a lovely name. At KCBS, which they've also destroyed. Intercom, Audacy, Cumulus. What a bunch of absolute fucking morons. Epithet intended. It is a joke. Facebook. I'm going to go to Facebook so I can watch these. At least they're not posting pictures of their grandmother's eggplant. Is that what we've come to? I hate Facebook, by the way. I'm there. Not in spirit, not in reality. I go there. I'm disgusted at what has become of us. You know, this is a true story. One of the assignment editors at one of the stations, I don't want to mention the actual station because they'll know it's this person. They wanted to do a series on the radio situation in the Bay Area, and they canceled it. They 86'd it. I didn't talk about this because I don't know all the facts yet, but I do know this. They canceled it because they thought it would be too deep in the weeds kind of a thing. Really now. You send a reporter. It doesn't even have to be an investigative reporter. You go into the radio station at KCBS, at KNBR, at The Bone. Pick and choose. And you wonder what the hell is taking place. What is going on? Who did this? We have no radio. Well, that's my assessment. Who gives a flying shit that KNBR and their frat boys and their fucking Subway sandwich coupons that they give to some of these morons because they know they have no union, they have no force whatsoever. They're like little kids, college kids, who were just so happy to be on the radio. They will work through whatever conditions. Ooh, we're in a new radio station. We moved out. This is front page headlines in that fucking nothing SFGate. But it's big to do on Facebook. This is what we've been reduced to. Well, not we. I haven't. And as long as I'm breathing, I'm going to make note of this. These goddamn companies that have no clue how to run a fucking hot dog stand, let alone a radio station. This is what we've been reduced to. Oh, they're moving. Let's put it on the front page. Well, at least in SFGate's case, it's not another story about Trader Joe's and what the best hot dog is in the Bay Area, or where we can get the best burrito in the Mission. I am so fed up. Who does this? Who pays attention to this shit anymore? Really? This is what we've become now. The king of minutiae, the queen of shit, of utter bullshit. And we're going to worry about the fact that they went from one shitty outpost to another shitty outpost that has a few, I guess, extra luxurious vending machines and coffee machines. Great. So Brian Murphy could get his jollies off and talk about how he had much better Pete's coffee while he was blowing Larry Bear again, if you know what I mean, figuratively speaking. What an absolute fool's gold it is here in this market that used to have cajones, used to have balls, used to be concerned about the real deal and the stuff that matters and not this shit. I don't even work at that horrible fucking institution, be it 740 AM, KCBS, or KNBR. Two absolute fakes. Oh, they moved. Oh my God. They moved. Yeah, as if that's a huge story. It's not even a goddamn agate style notation. Got people in San Francisco who are running in between the shit up, literally, on the street. We have the Tenderloin, once again being the Tenderloin. We have a mayor that is getting all this bravado and all this wonderment. I don't even live in San Francisco, thank God. I'm over here and exploring the lovely accoutrements in Oakland. But the mass minutia, the nothingness, the vulgarity of paying attention to shit that doesn't matter, folks. I'm not saying go get a bullhorn, but do something that's real. Sign a petition. Write to the FCC. I know the FCC doesn't matter anymore, but they still have a title. They have people that work there. Try something new. Be first and foremost concerned about the stuff that is indicative in people's bodies. Talk to people that have been laid off or altogether fired, or radio stations which mattered. And not the fact that they moved. Oh my God, it's such a big deal. They moved. You know what they did? They didn't move. They were forced out. KNBR and Cumulus and their little stupid radio stations. They were forced out of Battery and Broadway, 750 Battery Street. Why? Because they don't have money. They barely had the money and resources to pay literally for the lights about 2 months ago. True story. Of course, we have no media here to cover it. They're too busy, again, checking out burritos and crab sandwiches and blowing Larry Bear and playing golf with their buddies. Brian Murphy, you're a disgrace. Quote me. Copey Copes. Yeah. Program directors, in theory, my ass. We're gonna, folks, we're gonna conclude that Rich is fed up. I'm referring to myself in the third person, but I acknowledge it. Shame on me. It bugs the hell out of me that look at what we have become. And I myself, by the way, I'm a part of it. But what am I to do? What am I going to fight? what we've been reduced to today, I wish every one of you would do that Howard Beal moment. Somebody said the other day they thought of me as a Howard Beal, which I don't know whether it was an insult or a compliment. But God damn it, I am mad as hell. And I would say I'm not going to take it anymore. But I can't say it. I'm not a part of this shit anymore. I come on here and try to resonate with you folks. Somebody out there, get your fucking fingers off your keyboard going to Facebook to decide whether you want to see your Aunt Agnes's fucking overcooked spaghetti. Who cares about whatever shit they moved out of a studio? That should be their fucking underwhelming luck of the day. Look what they've done to this area. At least LA has some legitimacy left in real radio stations and real TV stations. In New York, Chicago. I was listening the other night to radio in Houston, Miami. They have somewhat of a semblance of reality and realness. We're fucking on Facebook talking about the fact that they moved out of a fucking studio. They should be so lucky. And they got interns that barely got out of college. Some of them are a little older. They don't know anything. They don't remember Jim Dunbar or Ron Owens or Owen Spann or Van Amber, Jerry Jensen, John O'Reilly, Peter Giddings, Pete Wilson, Paul Harvey, Dr. Don. Remember those days? And fuck you to all of you. Oh, he only cares about the old days. You're goddamn right. Because the old days represented something that was worthy and that we cared about. And not this shit that has been foisted on us by these fucking murderers who raped us of realness and of quality. Hell, even mediocrity. But at least it was mediocre good. And not the shit that we have today and the fucking cornflakes and snowflakes and bastards and idiots that we have today. And we're worried about, oh, they moved out of their studios. Fuck SFGate. Quote me. An SFist. Why don't you aggregate something real? You're not the Bay Area version of the Village Voice. Hell, you're a bunch of insipid assholes who sit at computer desks and scratch your face like I do. At least I have an excuse. And eat your goddamn Gouda cheese sandwiches with your fucking alfalfa sprouts and not even get out of your fucking offices to go investigate real stories. But that's what you do now. You sit and you scan. We don't even have wires left. Or Bay City News when it was real. We got this shit that we have today. You're goddamn right I'm angry. I ought to be worried. I ought to be annoyed. Sometimes when I say to myself, I don't have kids, and I'm not happy about that. In better times and maybe a little luckier moments, I would have had kids. But you know what, folks? The only good thing about not having kids is how would I worry about them today? How would I describe to them the world in which we live in today? And believe me, I'm not going all off. I understand the reality of the situation that we're in today. I'm talking about specifically this area, this so-called cosmopolitan, my ass, the so-called birthplace of free speech. And this is what we're reduced to. Worry about shit that doesn't count. And these fucking Yahoo putzes, these schmucks that they literally get off the street, put them in a chair behind a microphone and let them spout off about nothing. And that's what sports is, but it's a release. I get all that. And now we have these morons who supposedly have grit. My ass, they do. These companies have raped us of something we cherished, we took for granted, and now we have this shit. Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Where do we go now? What do we do? No, there's nothing we can do in that regard. You got these two, getting back to radio, these two hedge funds that are, by the way, about 2 cents and 6 cents. Penny stock. Nobody cares about them anymore, literally and figuratively. So it's only a matter of time before these latest iterations of shit become a part of our benchmark. They'll be gone, like all of us. That's the only good thing. And I say that because, look, I cared about some of the people that we had, the really good people. It didn't all have to be eviscerated. It didn't all have to be murdered by these clowns who made friends, who curried favor with management and with their own worker bees by taking them out to lunch at the nearest Burger King and gave them coupons at Subway. And now we're reduced to this shit. Look, I'm telling you, write to the FCC. Pay attention to what matters. Call your local congressperson or whomever, senator, congressperson, locally and beyond, and tell them about where is the transparency, where's the oversight, where's the FCC. And I know this is being very naive because there is no FCC. All they do is nothing. We used to have a real FCC. We used to have real folks that had oversight, that paid attention to these things. No longer. And now we're reduced to this. I keep saying it. And it's so sad. Look at what we have or don't have. And I tell people this. It's almost, what's it worth, Rich? Yeah, they sit around and they go on Facebook. And they post pictures of their grandson or Aunt Edna's cheese fondue. Oh, that's constructive. This is what matters now. I'm naive. I realize that by asking you to write to the FCC, maybe we'll start something. Maybe there'll be a rush. Maybe we'll catch lightning and make it at least somebody in charge, even though they have no power. Folks, maybe they'll do something. Don't hold your breath. Folks, go on Facebook, if you will. And you don't have to necessarily agree with me. You don't necessarily have to like me. I realize some people have told me, we like the message, we just don't like the messenger, to which I say to you, fuck off. Sorry. That was a joke. You know, I lost basically my whole family. I don't have my, mom's dead, dad's dead, my aunt, uncle, they're all dead. My brother passed. And I remember my mom, she used to love KGO. She used to turn KGO on at night, and I'd go by and say hi to Mom. She used KGO as her mate. She'd long been divorced from my dad, who passed also. It was so special. I hate to be emotional, but it's just every time I think about it, it reduces me to this. She loved KGO. It was her It was her mate. My brother was a big sports guy. He knew Al Davis used to own the Raiders. And he would take me to a little Raider game. I was 8 years younger. And he used to know a guy named Scotty Sterling, who was an executive with the Raiders and the Warriors. But before that, he worked at KNBR. And these are the days when KNBR was just magical and had people running the radio station and was legit and all that. And it really mattered. Look, I'm not going back and hearkening back to the good old days. I only bring it up because it didn't have to go the way it went, just like KGO. At least KNBR is still on the air, but that's not saying anything. And we just take for granted those moments when our loved ones or whomever, we ourselves, when we had radio, when we had a real media in this area. And now it's just, and look, I'm not on here to get mentions or hits or clicks or anything like that. And I see a few people on this YouTube. I'm here to lament the fact that I care. And it bothers the hell out of me and it hurts me that the institutions that I thought were real and worthy have now been eviscerated and now are fucking nothings and have nothing people for the most part. And we're going to make a brouhaha about the fact that one of the nothings moved out of their studio as if that's some fucking stop the presses moment. And the shit, these so-called reporters that we have today who can't get up off their ass and stop eating their goddamn alfalfa sprout Gouda sandwiches and do some real reporting and talk about shit that truly matters, and including you guys. Quit paying attention to your Aunt Agnes's eggplant recipes and pictures of your golfing trip to Canada. Talk and discuss and be immersed in shit that is important and not trivial shit. Please.